Okay, this is the second video for number theory. We want to talk about sets and Venn diagrams. So for sets, you need to know some of these symbols and the terminology of them. For the first one, if you see a U shape, that means union. So for union, the keyword for that is or. And this means like either or. And we want everything in both sets. So if you need to pause the video and write down some of these, you can certainly do it. If you have this shape, it means intersects. So intersects keyword is A and the end. We are focusing on getting the overlapping part of the two sets. Alright, and if you have like a set, use a capital letter to represent, and you see an apostrophe on top or a bar on top and or a little c on top, this means complement. So complements keyword is not. So what we do is we compare that set with the universal sets, and we want the part not in the sets but in the universal sets. Compare set with universal set. You want to get the parts that's not in that set. And we will do some example. Hopefully that would make more sense. Okay, the last one, like a little circle with a slash there, or this is called empty sets. So empty set is like you have a set with nothing in there. One of the common mistake is people put 0 as the empty set, which is not correct. Okay, if you put a 0 there, it means you have an element that is 0. So let's look at this. So if my universal set has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then A set have this, B set has this. So when you have this, is universal set, is not union. Most of the sets we name them with capital letter. We want to find this, so you may want to take a minute to write down the questions. So some of your homework question or exam question may look like this. So the first one, I saw an apostrophe here, so this means not A, right? So for not A, we are comparing A with the universal sets. So looking at A and universal sets is not A, so 0 is not in A, right? So that's part of my answer. 1, 2, 3 in A, so I cannot use them, but 4 is not in A, 5 is not in A, and 6 is not in A. So those would be not 8. And use the squiggly line brackets to close them, mean you have all these elements. It's not A. So if you want to pause the video and try to see if you can figure out not B, that would be good. So the answer is, we compare the universal set with B. We have 0, 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5 is here, and then 6. So those elements is in the universal set, but not in B. Okay, then we have some operation here. The first one with the U shape mean union, right? So this is union. We want either or, which means everything in both sets. So combining the two sets with A and B for the union U. Then we have 1, 2, 3, right? And then repeating 3, and then we have 4 and 5. So union, we want either in A or B will be part of my answer, so I'm combining both A and B. Alright, and the next one, this symbol represents intersect, right? So intersect means you want the overlapping part of the two. So if we compare A and B, which part is overlapping? So both of them have 3. Can we see that? So 3 is my overlapping part. So if they don't have anything in common, then it would be the empty sets. But this one would have something in common, so that is the answer. So if I just want to give you an example, if I added one more set, C equal to say 4, and if I ask you a question, hope don't confuse you too much, 3B, okay? If I want set A intersect with set C, then what do they have in common? I have 1, 2, 3, and these have 4, right? So they don't have anything in common, then you will write an empty set as what they have in common, okay? Or you can write this like this, but not put a 0 in there, okay? So these two have nothing in common or overlapping. So the answer is an empty set. So the last one is a little bit more complicated. So let's see. So if you see a question like this, you probably need to show some steps. Okay, so I'm going to show step. I'm going to do it slowly. Let's write down what is not A. So we got that earlier, right? Not A is here. So not A is 0, 4, 5, 6. So make sure this is correct. Otherwise, the whole thing is going to be wrong, right? And then I need to union my B. B is this guy. So take your time. Make sure you pick the correct set. 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, okay, and then we close that, and then after that we're supposed to intersect with B, right? So let's do a step at a time following the order of operations. I should do the one in the parenthesis first, right? So union means I want to combine both of them, so I'm gonna have 0, 3, sorry, it's not working. Okay, I need to put that aside later on. 0, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? So that includes both of these. And then intersecting my B, where is B? B is 3, 4, 5. So if you have a question like this on the test or homework, make sure you show me some steps. So intersect means I want the overlapping part, right? So overlapping would be both of them have 3, both of them have 4, both of them have 5. So 3, 4, 5 is my answer. Are we okay with that? So this is just the introduction of step. We probably will give you a little bit more example, but that may help you with your homework. So the next topic we want to talk about is Venn diagram. So again, we're going to introduce you with a little bit information about Venn diagram. So let's see. You may want to take a minute and write this down. So we're just starting with two sets. So the first set, you have two things that has nothing in common. Maybe I can say gender. And I have males and females. Although nowadays it's like a little bit more confusing. And then maybe I would say gender again. I can have male in this big category, and then boy in this category. So I would have like adult male here, and then male children here, so they are like within each other in that sense. And sometimes we have overlapping like this. So say this is math 1350 students. Okay, I can have one is for females. I cannot put male here, right? Because I need something in common. So it has to be two different category. So this would be live in commerce maybe. If we in class, normally we do an activity. It's hands-on activity that like allows students to solve shapes and color and thickness of different things with like an expanded circle. Usually it's a pretty fun activity. Unfortunately we cannot do that online here. I will figure something out. So I'm gonna separate them into different sections. Section 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so the rectangular box is representing the universal set, which is like the title, student in math 1350 class. Okay, so that's your universal sets. So for section 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're going to explain what they are in words. Hopefully that helps students see that a little bit better. So in 1, it's going to be female for sure, right? But I don't want it to be anywhere in this circle. 1 is just this section in female circle, but excluding everything live in commerce, right? So that would be female math 1350 students who don't live in commerce, because like what I'm talking here is section 1, which is just this little part, right? But excluding the overlapping part. So this is my section 1. So section 1 is female math 1350 students, but excluding the female 1350 student who live in commerce, right? So don't live in commerce. Second section is the overlapping part between the two circles, right? So the overlapping part between the two circles would be females math 1350 students. This time need to be live in commerce, right? So it has to have the two characteristics in order to be in 2. How about number 3? It would be the section like Y outside here, not the overlapping part, right? So this circle represents math 1350 students live in commerce, but not female, right? Just that little part. So number 3 would be male 1350 students, and the circle represent live in commerce, right? So just that little part in the circle. And then number 4 is outside of these two circles, but within the math 1350 students, right? So if it's not in a circle, it means it's not female. Not female mean male, right? Oh, I'm sorry, number 3 is supposed to be male. I didn't put male there. So not female on number 3, so this is male, right? Male math 1350 students live in commerce. So sorry about that. Don't forget to add that back in there for me. So number 4 is similar. It's outside of the female circle, so it's also going to be male, right? Math in the box, so male, math, 1350 student. And not female, not live in commerce, so do not live in commerce. So this is kind of using those union, intersect, and complement, which is not part, right? So this is the basic of Venn diagram. So the next part, we want you to use like color pencil to shade it. So bring out your color pencil, and then I want you to draw like some of this. So what I want you to draw is a whole bunch of boxes. So I have 8 different examples here. So this is for Venn diagram. You need to shade the answer part. And I have number 1 to 8 like this. So write down the title first. Venn diagram. Shade the answer part. And then go ahead and pause the video and write down these questions. So each of these will have a rectangular box with 2 circles A and B overlapping each other. And bring out your color pencil. We will get ready to shade it. You will have some exam questions like this. On the exam, I would suggest you actually use color pencil to do this, because some of you use highlighter for the last exam, and when you scan it, sometimes it may not show, so you need to darken it a little bit more in order to show on the turning work for me. So let's see. Okay, the first one, after you're ready writing that, we want to only shape the set A. So I'm gonna get my color pencil. That means just in the circle A, right? So you should not draw this super big because it's gonna take forever to shade, right? So this represents set A for number 1. Are we okay? So number 2, I want to shade set B. So just the B circle. Hope everybody's okay. So this is the basic one. All right. How about number 3? 3 with the U. What does U mean? U means union. Is either or. Mean I want everything in both sets, right? I mean set. Okay. So everything in both sets, which means anything in A or anything in B or both of them would be part of my answer, right? So everything in A is my answer. So I can shape my A, right? But also everything in B. So anything in this area would be part of my answer if I want A union B. Are we okay? How about A and then this symbol means intersect, right? So for the intersecting part, if you look at the last circle, you can see this is the double shaded part, right? So we want the overlapping part. So the last one is or, this one is and, mean the overlapping part of the 2. So the 2 circle overlapping would be this part, right? This is the part we just colored both of them and it was double shaded like this, right? So that would be the answer for A intersect B. This is A union B. Are we okay? So next, we're going to try to get not A. So we just see A is like this, right? So not A would be outside of A circle. So you should shade everything except the circle A, right? Is everybody okay with this? So some of this you may need to practice a little bit. Some of this is like convey natural to some students, but some have a hard time with this. Alright, so try to figure out what is not B. So not B would be outside of the B circle, right? So if B is this, is outside what? And if you look at these two pictures, B and not B, if you combine B and not B, what do you get? If you combine B and not B, you will fill out the whole universal set, right? So they're complement of each other. Okay. Now, so this is not complement. The word keyword is not, it means complement. So you can say not A or complement of A. Either way is correct. Alright. The last two will be more like what you will see on the test. They're a little bit more complex. You need to know the basic in order to do it. And normally I will ask you to show steps. So how would you show step for this? So I would draw a picture to represent A, and then another picture represent not B, and then try to do the operation. So I have a picture of not A, and then I need to intersect this with not B. So make sure it's clear. You can see like the overlapping or not overlapping stuff. So with that, I have A, so just in the A circle, right? And then I also have not B, so it's outside of the B circle. And once we have these two, the operation asks us to do what? I need intersect. So the overlapping part intersect of them. And can you figure out what would that be? So which part is overlapping? It looks like in the A circle, right? But not this overlapping part. This is what they have in common, like over here. Can you see that? So if you look at these two, it works better if I have transparency like this guy and another transparency of this guy, and you can put it on top of each other and see which part they are overlapping. And hopefully you can see is in the A circle, both of that color in that part, but not the intersecting part of A and B. Can you see that? So this is the final answer. Alright, those are your steps. Alright, so if you feel okay, maybe try the next one and see if you can do it. So again, I would do some steps like not A here, union not B, and then draw a picture for each one of them. And feel free to pause the video and try it. So the top one is not A, so outside of the A circle. And then we have not B, outside of the B circle. So this one means union, and the keyword is or, and we want everything in both sides, right? So this one usually is easier because like what you can do is like you can color in what this guy have. That's the top picture, right? That's not A. and then just add in whatever they have in the second picture. I think that's here, and then actually they kind of have this, right? But then the shaded part here would be my final answer, right? So this is for not A union not B answer. So hopefully that makes sense. Like, that should get you through most of the next homework. Thank you.